Hello, welcome back to VeggiePlot. I popped up to the allotment today. It's quite a bit to do. Just put this down. First of all, I don't know if you remember, there are those two really weedy beds behind you. So I'm going to weed them today because I want to plant, and don't laugh, I know it's a bit late, but I want to plant my garlic. So these are some of the garlic cloves I had over from last year. And I'm going to be using these this year to see how they go. But the ground's now totally defrosted, so they should be okay. And I'm hoping, what with the cold weather we'll have over winter, it'll split them and we should get some more good garlic next year. But it's a bit late to be putting them in the ground, so we'll see how they go. The other things I want to do is I want to go and pick red cabbage and so on. I don't remember in the last video we picked 3 and they were delicious, but I didn't know if they were going to make it through all that frosty weather. But it looks like they have, so we'll have a look at them later, get another cauliflower and some leeks and some kale and so on. But one other thing I wanted to show you before we get going is I've been working on a little project. I don't know if you know, on my website, if you've been to veggieplot.uk, you'll see there's like a members area. It's totally free at the moment. And in there's access to just over 40 different downloads, which enable you to sort of record things and plan your year and so on and so forth. But it occurred to me that not everyone has a printer. And so, because I'm a designer by trade, I've come up with this thing called a record book. And this is my answer to that. It'll be going for sale on my website at some point soon. But yeah, it's a useful little book for you to write in and make notes. It's not a journal. I think journals have their place, but for me, they don't provide enough sort of solid use case, as it were. They're sort of about writing down your thoughts on what you've done, and I find that a bit too vague. I want something which really helps me know what I've done throughout the year so that I can plan ahead and I can do better next year. So it's really designed to help anyone who grows fruit, veg, flowers and so on to grow more each year, just by helping them record what they've done, and so that they can do better next year. But I'll go through this a little bit later in the video if you're interested. It's got all sorts of useful information on the back and on the insides and so on. So we'll have a little look about that a little bit later on. But yeah, I'm quite excited. I think anyone who's into gardening will find this really, really useful. Anyway, right, let's get the keys. We'll open up and we'll get on cleaning out these beds and planting garlic. Right, got some sacks for the rubbish, a handy trowel. I don't know if you can see, it's a lovely blue sky day. Let me show you. Look at that, it's amazing. We've had such grotty weather recently. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this weeding and then we can get this garlic in. Right, I can't believe how quickly these weeds have grown. It's astonishing. I'm still surprised, because if I just left these, you know, come the spring, they'd be absolutely everywhere. So it's worth popping up to your allotment every now and again, just to do a bit of weeding and just to stay on top of everything, really. Right, that's got those 3 beds weeded. The eagle-eyed of you may notice that the lights changed somewhat. Partly I had to go home last night, get the car from the garage, had its MOT done. Anyway, so we're back here next morning if you wonder why the light's all different. Anyway, these are the garlic I grew last year. These are white Germidour, no, white Casablanca, get that right. These are white Casablanca, and these are pink Germidour. Yeah, they've both done really well. Budgetary constraints this year. I'm going to grow this year's garlic, or next year's garlic, from these cloves. So I'm sure you're all aware, but for anyone who's new here growing garlic, these are called garlic bulbs, where they're all together. And when you break the little garlic's cloves out of the garlic bulb, that's what you plant. But I'll show you that in a second. So, as you can see, this one down the bottom here, and this pink Germidour, this is beginning to shoot already. You can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'll just get the scissors and I'll just nip one off. I'll nip that one off and show you. So just cut that out of the out of the plat that I created. And then all you do with your garlic cloves is you take off the outer papery cloak, I think it's called. So you just take that off, try not to throw them everywhere, and choose the largest cloves you can find. Now you don't have to take all the rest of this papery stuff off at all, you can leave that on, but when you plant them you just want to make sure that this sort of pointy bit is pointing up and this sort of flat basal plate, which is called at the bottom here where the roots will come out, that's down. So what I do is go through and separate all these cloves off, choose the largest, and then plant them in the ground. Now there are certain depth guides and things for planting garlic. I think you should plant them about an inch or so below the surface. If it's on sort of light, well-drained soil, you can go a little bit deeper. I think you can get bigger cloves if you plant them a little bit deeper. And then you should plant them 15 centimetres apart in a row. And then each row should be about 30 centimetres apart because they like plenty of sun and light and so on when they're growing. So that's those three, and we'll separate the others. But just for interest, in the record book actually, I've got a double page spread here of plant and row spacing. Not that the camera probably picks it up, but it tells you in here sort of the average sort of plant spacing and row spacing in centimetres and inches. And for garlic it says 15 centimetres between each garlic clove, and then 30 centimetres between each row. That's either 6 inches or 12 inches. So yeah, good useful guide in the record book. The other thing to think about when you're planting garlic is always to separate your cloves from the bulb sort of at the time you want to plant them. So you don't want to be doing this, you know, a week or two in advance or anything like that. You want to do it on the day you're down on the allotment, ready to start planting. So always, yeah, choose the biggest. They're usually around the outside, I find. The smaller ones I'll just, you know, take home and we'll use for cooking. But yeah, these are all beginning to shoot. I don't know if you can see at the top. Yeah, look at the size of that one. It's gorgeous. And the shoot's just coming out here. So yeah, I'm going to open up as many of these as possible. These small ones I'm not going to bother with. I'll take these home and I'll just chuck them in the cooking. Right, well that's got, I think it's 53, I counted, 53 pink Germidour cloves. And you can see most of them are beginning to shoot as it goes, so they all need planting anyway. But what I want to do is make sure that when I plant them in the bed up the top here, that I've got them at the right space apart and the right depth down. So I'm marking off this stick to be, I put a mark about 3 inches, so the clove will be from sort of the base to here, about an inch or so. So that'll leave about an inch, inch and a half before the shoot breaks through the surface. And my thinking of that is that sometimes birds like pigeons, when the green shoots come through, they can peck at them and pull them, and we get a lot of bird life up here. So by putting them a little bit deeper, it means that the roots have had more time to get out into the soil to actually hold them in if they actually try and pull them out. So that's my thought on that. And then I want to mark a 15 centimetre spacing between the cloves and then a 30 centimetre for the rows. And this is where the grow guide comes in handy again, because on the inside of the front cover and the back cover, on the inside of the front cover we've got a centimetre ruler, and on the inside of the back cover we've got an inch ruler, depending on which way you prefer to measure things. So basically everything changes, doesn't it? 1 minute it's inches, next minute it's centimetres. But yeah, so basically you can rule, make a measurement up basically using the grow guide. And that's what I shall use once this is measured up then to do the whole bed. So we take the record book open that up, and the inside front cover, then I've got this measurement. It goes from actually 0 to 18 as it goes, so I'm going to put it to about 15 on the end, and then where it comes to 0, I'm just going to make a line with a penknife. If I had a pen, a Sharpie or something, I'd use that, but this is all I've got today. So that's 15 centimetres from the base to there. That's the spacing for the cloves. And then we want 30 centimetres, so I'll do another 15 from the end to here, and that'll be the spacing between the rows. Just like that. Okay, right, let's just finish these off and then we'll get planting. Don't know if you can see, but on here I've made some notches at the right depths, so, and the right spacings. So we're going to take this now and then use it on the bed here. You can see I've laid out some canes, and they're the rows. So they are approximately, well, they are about 30 centimetres apart each one. And then we shall, using this dibber, make a little hole. You can see I've made one there. And then 15 centimetres apart, make the next one. And so the next one, again, another 15 centimetres, and we'll put another clove in there. I'm just going to make my way along this bed and get all of these in. 53 might not be enough, I'm not sure by the looking of these spacing, but yeah, I should get on with this and get back to you when I'm done. Right, that's got all of those in. There were 53 original ones, and then another 14, making 67 cloves of garlic in here, which is, yeah, amazing. I've still got plenty left from last year. So this is what they look like at the moment. They're just all in their little holes here, as you can see. I'm just now going to cover them over. Doesn't matter how you do this, I suppose. It's just lightly cover them over with the trowel, and then, yeah, leave them. And in hopefully a few weeks' time, we should get some lovely green shoots coming through, and they will have rooted in, and then hopefully then I'll carry on doing them in a minute. We shall get to know whether we're going to have garlic for next year. Right, I just wanted to show you now how the record book can be used to help you grow more and grow better next year. So in relation to what I've done with the garlic today. So inside you've got a quick start guide, some more useful information on the inside front cover. We've got an index, and if we look down to page 39, we've got the sow, plant and harvest section. So if I just show you that. Right, sow, plant and harvest. Now what this does, it enables you to write in what it is you've planted or sown, when, where, how many, etc. So in here we've got common names, so that would be garlic. We've got variety, so that would be pink Germidour. We wouldn't have date sown because it's not a seed. How many would be 67, was it I said? Then we have date planted, which would be today, which would be the 21st of December. And then where planted, so this would be on the allotment. So you can create sort of codes or allotments for codes or guides for your beds. So obviously I'd put a number on this bed, I'd write that in where planted, or I'd just put allotment, and then you leave it. And then later in the year, when you get your first harvest, when you pick your, or lift your first garlic, in my case, I'll write in first harvest here. And then any notes I want to make, such as grew really well or grew really badly. And then what that'll enable me to do is next year when I come back to sowing my garlic, planting my garlic, I'll be able to look in here and I'll be able to say, well, actually, 21st of December was far too late and I shouldn't have planted them. I should have planted them back in October, you know, or I should have waited till the spring. But conversely, it might say they grew really well. So I might put in notes, grew really well, always plant out on the 21st of December or around that date. So what this does is it enables you to create a record specific to your growing environment, and so that you know exactly when and where things grew really well. So that's basically how that would help perhaps with this garlic. I'll go through the rest of it at another point, but I'm going to cover all these in now, and then I'm going to plant out the white Germidour. No, white Casablanca. I'll get that right eventually. So yeah, get on with the white Casablanca now. I've got the white Casablanca. I don't know if I said earlier about the different types of garlic. I was reading on the RHS website about the differences. I mean, I know there are hard neck and soft neck, and the pink Germidour is a soft neck garlic, whereas the white Casablanca is a hard neck. Let me just put the scissors down, waving them around, have an accident. So yeah, these white Casablanca are hard neck garlic. Now, according to their website, these last longer and have a stronger flavour, last longer throughout winter. But the other main difference is that the hardnecks will send up flower stalks. Basically, we're called scapes, which you can cut off and eat, which I've eaten before, so fry them up, they're really nice. Yeah, but the soft neck don't send up flower stalks or scapes unless they're really stressed. So we shall see. I shall show you later in the season when they're hopefully growing. But yeah, that's the main difference. There's also elephant garlic, but which grows really big and has really huge cloves. But basically, they're more, I think, related to leeks as opposed to onions, which garlics are related to. Okay, right, let's separate all these and we'll get planting them too. So I'm just breaking apart this white Casablanca garlic bulb. It's just exactly the same. I know these are hard neck and the Germidour are soft neck, but you treat them just the same. You just break them off the basal sort of old root plate that was from the original garlic bulb, and just the little ones again, these will all go home, be used for cooking, but the bigger ones on the outside, such as these, and you can see this one actually has already begun to shoot. So I think they'll be romping away as soon as we get them in the ground. Sometimes you have to be a bit more careful. If you've got these from home, you can see there are quite a lot of green shoots in the top there. So when you break them apart, you've actually got to be quite delicate. You don't want to break those green shoots off when you're separating them. So it can be quite tricky sometimes. But that one's okay. Amazing shoot on it. Right, so I'm going to get on. I need about another 67, as I say. Get on, plant this bed up, and then we'll go back down and check out these cabbages, shall we? And see if they're still solid and not gone all mushy. I'll catch up with you in a minute. Right, that's them all in, all done. Just got this bed to decide what I want to do with. I'm not quite sure what to do with that yet, but we shall see. There'll be plenty more to plant, I'm sure. Right, let's have a look at the red cabbages, shall we? And cauliflower. I want to make sure that we get a couple of these out ready for Christmas dinner coming up this weekend. Cut this off. Have a quick look, see what we've got. Yeah, because we had all that dreadfully frosty weather. You can see it's sapped the outer leaves a little bit, but I'm not sure what it will have done to inside. So a quick peel back and see. Perfect, look at that. Yeah, really good. So I'm going to get one more and then these will go home, put them in the bottom of the fridge, and they'll be good for the weekend. Again, much the same. Yeah, lovely and clean. Yeah, another one. Great, let's go and see what we've got in the cauliflower, shall we? I'm not sure how good these cauliflowers will be. This one here looks like it really got attacked by the frost, and I'm not sure how good it'll be. We'll take it off. Yeah, I'd say the leaves weren't covering it that well, and it may be too late anyway, but you can see it's gone a bit yucky and mushy on the top, so that's all going to go on the compost. We'll see if any of the others are any good. See, this is where the record book will really come in handy, because I planted these out quite late in the season. They're not done brilliantly so far in their position, or perhaps when I planted them. Maybe the weather as well hasn't helped. So these are all really good things I can make a note of in the record book, so that the next time when I come to sow and plant out cauliflower, I'll have a better idea of what's going to do better up here on the allotment. Yeah, these are all year round cauliflower. This is the label, and I planted them on the 17th of July 2022. So yeah, I shall put that information into my record book. Yeah, I think that cold weather really got down to about -8. You can imagine with the wind and the snow we've had, that they really have suffered. If I were desperate, I might eat it, but I'm not. So I don't think anyone in the family will eat it either. So that one again, going in the compost. Right, that's a shame. I'll leave these others for the minute, I think. I'm going to get some leeks, and I might dig 1 or 2 more parsnip just to see what they're like. Because they do say parsnip gets better, doesn't it? More flavour after a frost. I just realised actually that I don't have a fork here. I obviously took it home, which is a shame. So I did try and get this parsnip out, but it is quite a big one. So actually I'm not going to bother with the parsnip. So till I've got a fork. We'll pop up the other end and get some leeks. Right, just going to get a couple of leeks. 1, 2. Right, I'm going to get 2 more because they're just too small. I haven't grown these type of this variety of leek before. I normally grow musselburgh, and these have been much better for me, but there you go. Bit sad, but they'll do. Right, put them by the shed. Well, that's been a lovely few hours up on the allotment, sorry, yesterday and today. Bit disjointed, but got loads of garlic in, 120, 130 odd garlic, so that'll be great next year. 2 wonderful red cabbages, wonderful for Christmas. These are nice sort of braised red cabbage, and then 4 leeks. And as I said in the last video, I'm the only one who eats leeks, so a couple of meals in there for me. And I know I said at the beginning of the video that I wanted to talk about the record book, but I think this video is probably getting a bit long, so you probably don't want to hear about this now. But I will do another video specifically on this, showing you how it works and how it can really help you record what you grow and grow more next year. But yeah, I'll save that for another video. Okay, hope you've had a good day. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a great week, and Christmas if I don't see you soon. I'm going to try and get another video out before the end of the year, and hopefully see you in that one too. Okay, bye for now. See you soon.